Alright, hello everybody, I'm Investigator Jeff Hugh with the Greenwood Police Department. You all know me, I think. I'm a school resource officer here at East Hills. Today I want to persuade y'all about the importance of utilizing school resource officers in public schools. The way that police officers interact with the public has changed a lot in the past couple of decades, mainly with school resource officers being in schools. A lot of the SROs are there to protect students and staff, of course. But they also provide a good way that we can interact with y'all. Y'all kind of get comfortable with this. You're not scared of us or anything like that. I'm sure nobody here is scared of me, right? I'm like a big teddy bear pretty much. So I try to get along with all y'all. I don't have time to learn all y'all's names or anything because I've got 5 schools that I work, but I know most of you when I see your face. A lot of old-time officers, they could have never imagined a time when police officers were in schools like we are now. It just didn't happen back then. There have been a lot of public incidents that have highlighted the need for the SROs in schools. I'm sure y'all have seen on the news. Active shooter situations, natural disasters like tornadoes and stuff. People coming in, you know, trying to disrupt school. Whether it's active shooters, natural disasters, or whatever, we kind of act as a liaison between administration and parents regarding legal issues. Whenever something comes up with legal issues with parents like custody and stuff like that, we get a lot of calls from the administration wanting us to help kind of sort that out. The need for SROs is increasing. People are realizing the realities faced by today's youth. Y'all deal with a whole lot more than we did even whenever I was younger. I know a whole lot more. In summary, today I'll discuss the history of SROs in our schools, the roles that they play, and the challenges faced by resource officers as they try to balance the need for the school security and the image that the schools and their administration wants to put forth to the public. Unfortunately, it's become necessary to employ school resource officers in public schools. It was unheard of just a couple of decades ago, but they've become the norm at most schools. As police began to look for more ways to interact with youth and communities, schools were a logical choice to deploy officers, right? It's a good idea to get us interacting with y'all before it's too late. We can kind of tell y'all what's going on, what's up, the legal issues that you might face if you act up, those kind of things. Many officers were very against this type of policing when it began, due to officers looking at the assignment like it was beneath them. You know, there's a lot of jokes about campus cops and stuff like that, you know. In reality, probably the best way to impact crime rates is through the use of school resource officers. Most officers didn't line up to serve in this capacity, though, like I said, because they thought it was beneath them. As the officers and administrators began to see actual results that the officers were accomplishing in the schools, mainly through the relationships with the students they built over time, the attitude began to slowly change. In the beginning of school resource programs, most SROs were either female or older officers that were nearing retirement, placed in the positions by superiors as a way to get them out of sight, out of mind, right? They were either too old or administrators viewed them, you know, a lot of the thinking back then, luckily it's changed nowadays, but a lot of females were assigned to schools because they didn't want them on the streets. It was a way to kind of push them to the side. It's slowly changed, and a lot of SROs are assigned to criminal investigations divisions within their departments like I am. I'm a full-time detective along with being a school resource officer. So I'm on call whenever we get burglaries that happen, you know, any kind of personal property crimes or personal crimes. I get called out to go work those for the patrol guys. It's a highly coveted spot at many departments, a lot because we work Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 3:30, right? And doing police work, you don't get that very often. I'm off almost all the holidays, the same ones y'all are, and that's kind of hard to do. The first SRO program in the United States was instituted in Flint, Michigan in 1953. Since then, it's gained wide acceptance as a regular function at most police agencies. In 1968, Fresno, California began to look at the SRO program piloted in Flint as a way to put their officers into schools to build relationships with youth. Most SROs were initially outfitted in plain clothes. They just came to work in jeans, t-shirts, whatever they had on. But they've evolved into full uniformed officers with full arrest authority, right? They're regular police officers. School resource officers they can make arrests, traffic stops, they can do everything regular police officers can. I don't wear a full uniform because I think it's a lot easier to talk with the kids without being in all that garb. You know, we don't look so intimidating. I just look like a regular dude you can come up and talk to. Today there are thousands of SROs in our schools. Arkansas has a lot of SROs, most of which belong to the Arkansas Safe Schools Association. Greenwood was one of the first districts in the state of Arkansas to deploy school resource officers in 2001. That's probably before most of y'all were even born. Little bitty old Greenwood kind of piloted a lot of the SRO program in the state. The joint cooperation and funding by the police departments and school districts is key to the success of all SRO programs. Now that I've explained the history of SROs, I want to talk about the roles that SROs play at schools. Many SRO programs utilize the triad concept. That's basically the officer is a teacher, a counselor, and then a law enforcement officer. The role of an SRO as a teacher is one of the most difficult parts of the responsibilities of the officer, just because we're not used to it. It's something that police don't do. And then once you get in the schools and you have to start giving speeches and talk to people, that's changed a little bit over the last couple of years with Common Core and those things. Y'all don't have time for us to come in and interrupt class very much anymore. So we don't get to do a lot of the things that we used to do. When y'all were in elementary, y'all all remember Officer Stu? He used to just pop into class and give speeches, talk to everybody. Yeah. We don't have a chance to do that very much anymore because y'all are covered up. SROs attempt to educate students about a variety of subjects related to criminal law, safety, and responsibility. Another important part is being counselors to students. There's a variety of situations most law enforcement officers have faced in their careers, you know, all different kind of things, and that kind of helps us get on the same level with a bunch of kids that are going through things. The role of the actual law enforcement, actually being a police officer, is probably the easiest for the officer to perform because it's what we're used to, but it's the most difficult emotionally. You know, I don't ever want to arrest a kid. Sometimes I have to. When I do it and I go on. I try to help that kid after that event takes place as much as I can, but that's my job. I really don't look forward to it. My main focus, most SRO's main focus, is the safety and security of the students and the staff that we're assigned to protect. This is very taxing on the emotions of officers. I can tell you, especially from 7:30 to 3:30, we have 2 school resource officers here in Greenwood for 5 schools. From 7:30 to 3:30, all I think about is who may be coming in the school, who's trying to get in the school, you know, whether or not y'all are safe, what's going on with the school. You know, of course, y'all all know the things that have gone on late, you know, this year, having to evacuate and all that. Now that you understand the roles SROs play, let me explain the challenges faced by SROs in balancing security and public opinion. Although recent events such as school shootings have made national headlines and demonstrated the need for SROs, many challenges are still faced. Public perception of officers in schools is that they are not needed, mostly due to parents' recollection of the safe schools that they had when they were kids. There weren't police officers in most of your parents' schools when they were growing up, so they don't see a need for it now. They think we, you know, just kind of hang out and don't do much. We do a lot that people don't see us doing. Many parents view the police as out to get their children. Y'all might have heard that a few times. I don't know if you have or not. Hopefully you haven't. I try not to be that way. You know, like I said, I'm pretty easygoing and laid back, so I don't think I've arrested anybody at this school this year. Maybe one. Something like that. Many members of the community believe police would be better served by working the streets where they perceive that real crimes take place. We get a lot of that. They want to know why we're in the schools and not out busting drug dealers and stuff like that. The reality of it is, most of our drug dealers come from schools. Y'all probably know that better than we do. The relationships built with kids lead to tips that SROs use to help solve crimes. We pass the information along, or if it's a crime that we're working, we get a lot of tips from kids. The education part the officers offer in school reduce crime rates later as children get older. SROs work with school administrators to ensure the safety of the school by implementing plans and emergency action plans. Physical security of the school and the students is the #1 duty of all school resource officers. SROs maintain full authority in the school setting with full arrest powers. While serving as advisors to administrators in civil matters and policy violations, criminal matters are handled the same way in which they would be outside of the school building. In conclusion, SROs play a vital role in the day-to-day operation of many schools. Their mere presence often curtails many criminal acts, but at the very least provides a sense of security to students and staff at the school. Officers have to walk a very thin line between being a police officer, an educator, and a counselor. Therefore, it's instrumental that SROs have experience dealing with public and have served in a variety of capacities in law enforcement due to the importance and responsibilities placed on them to serve the schools. I just want to close by saying this is probably the best thing I've ever done in law enforcement. I've done a little bit of everything. Right now I'm assigned to a federal task force that works with Homeland Security, and we take care of a bunch of cool stuff. Get to play around, serve federal search warrants, do all kind of fun stuff. This job right here, this part of it, like I said, I don't get to talk to y'all as much as I wish I could, get to know every one of you by name, but this is the best thing I've ever done in law enforcement. That's about all I got.